America is too divided. Republicans versus Democrats, billionaires versus billions of the rest of us broke bastards, Karens versus everybody. That's why I'm reaching out to the other side to see if I can't find common ground with people I disagree with strongly. For this story, I traveled to Idaho, or Montana, or Wyoming, somewhere with no black people, to meet anti-government extremist and big hat enthusiast, Ammon Bundy, and see if I could get him to disagree.
Doesn't matter if they call it Republican or Democrat. It is poison to liberty.
You might remember Bundy from a 2014 standoff with the government over grazing rights.
This is our land!
Or from his standoff with the government at a nature preserve in 2016.
Ammon Bundy, who pointed guns at law enforcement in Arizona, now he's doing it in Oregon.
Or from his protests against state COVID restrictions in Idaho. This dude is in a lot of standoffs. And now, a guy who spent 2 years in prison for fighting the federal government before getting out on the mistrial is running for governor of Idaho.
As governor, I will keep Idaho, Idaho.
What the hell does that mean besides growing potatoes? I decided to talk to some of Bundy's supporters.
Ammon is definitely a threat to the old boy network in Idaho. Why? I don't need the government to tell me how to act.
So Ammon Bundy for less governor.
Yes.
Our rights don't come from the government. Our rights come from God, okay? And certain people have said, you know what? The buck has to stop somewhere.
Okay, but you were black and in Idaho. How did that happen?
So I'm like third generation here. Yeah.
Okay.
Ammon Bundy is willing to do what it takes to defend liberty, just like Rosa Parks did on the bus.
I had to meet with this white male version of Sister Rosa. Okay, so you've been called a militia leader. You have been called the T word.
Domestic
terrorist.
terrorist, yeah.
How do you not come across as an anti-government person who's now becoming part of the government?
Well, I want people to use the land as God intended, and for the government just to leave them alone other than to protect them.
You know, like when you were a child, your daddy be all in your business, come in your room, go through your toys. That's government now. What we really want is a stepdaddy government that comes in and just goes, hey, don't kill each other. I'll be outside drinking.
Well, yeah, unless one of them tries to infringe upon another person's right.
Clearly, finding common ground would not be easy. And sure enough, Bundy and I disagreed on a range of issues, from taxes.
I don't believe that property tax is a moral tax.
To the social safety net.
Never should I say, look, Joe over here is needing help, and I'm going to force you with the barrel of the gun to give me $150 so I can give it to Joe.
That's right.
It's immoral.
F you, Joe. And the definition of slavery.
And then pretty soon you end up with 30% of the people providing for the other 70%. That's slavery.
And that's all before we got to the King Kong of divisive issues today, COVID.
Government will go as far as the people allow them to go, which is all the way to genocide.
Explain genocide.
Well, let's look at the 1930s. What was the Nazis claiming? What was their excuse? It was a national health emergency, that the Jews and the blacks, that their genes were inferior, and ultimately decided that they needed to even put them to death. So,
like, there weren't like Jews and blacks dying in droves before Hitler came in and did what he did. He chose to start doing it. Whereas at least with COVID, there was, oh, there's a bunch of dead people. How do we stop this?
Yeah.
People are dying.
So you're saying you believe what the government is saying?
You
You believe the reports because they're so honest, right? And they're so good.
How do I get the information you got?
You can get it.
Why? Because anytime people go, I done the research, they never say where.
It's everywhere. And
No, that's not an answer. Where the is it,
well, I
Mr.
can
Bundy?
give it to
I need
you.
to know.
I can give it to you if you want. I mean, do you want to go over it right here on my phone? I mean,
Everybody said they done the research, but they
Right,
can never
well,
give me a
I
www. And I hadn't even asked Bundy about his history of armed standoffs against the government.
Well, so these accusations of me associating with violent groups, never once have we ever done anything violent.
You're like a Gandhi of the Rocky Mountains. I just can't get down with armed occupations, especially when they end with death in prison. Seemed like finding common ground was just too hard. But then Bundy surprised me.
I was in prison for 2 years, federal prison, and you got the whites, they're always over here, and you got the Mexicans and the Native Americans.
Everybody sticks with their own kind.
Yes, I know, I didn't feel that way. Next thing I know, I'm out playing basketball with black guys, and no problem, right? The white guys might have a little bit of a problem with it, so I go back there and I talk to them and say, hey, look, I'm sorry, that's just the way I roll.
I'm not a racist, but we're playing basketball, and I really want to win.
Now the guards in the prison gets all concerned because the way they can keep us in the prison is keep us divided, and that's what's happening in society.
As someone who also felt abused by the criminal justice system, Bundy was even supportive of a movement on the opposite side of the spectrum.
You must have a problem in your mind if you think that somehow the Black Lives Matter is more dangerous than the police.
What? This cowboy-hatted, beef-sweating constitutionalist was siding with Black Lives Matter and not the police? What I'm hearing is a brother whose some of his views kind of line up with Black Lives Matter.
Well, I think they might line up with black people, and I think they might line up with white people too. And I guarantee that if I was to be able to communicate openly with the majority of the people in Black Lives Matter, that probably 95% of our beliefs would align with each other.
I think that's some common ground. Maybe America is headed towards a civil war. But for a moment, two Americans who vehemently disagree found a way to be civil. Okay, it was a brief moment. You know, we don't agree on everything.
Yeah.
I just think it's okay, and I just wanted to shake your hand. Good talking to you. And there's something else we agree on. I look damn good in the cowboy hat.